My brother's laughter died mid-breath when he looked down at the paper in his hand. My sister-in-law went pale. My mother's mouth fell open, and I just sat there watching them realize what I'd known all along. The Christmas gifts they'd been mocking for the past hour? They were about to understand exactly why I'd spent $30, and nothing would ever be the same. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and tell me where you're watching from. My name is Natalie, and I'm 36 years old. I work in finance at a regional healthcare company in Denver. I've been there for 14 years, starting as an entry-level accountant right out of college. I live alone in a house I bought 5 years ago. I drive a modest car. I don't post much on social media, and I keep my personal life private, especially from my family. I have 2 siblings. My older brother, Derek, is 39. He works in sales at the same company where I work. My younger sister, Amber, is 33. She's in marketing, also at the same company, different departments, different divisions. We rarely see each other at work. My family has always treated me like the odd one out. The one who studied too much, the one who chose work over parties, the one who didn't know how to have fun. When I bought my house at 31, my mom said, "It's cute, small but cute." When Derek bought his house 2 years later, with a down payment gift from our parents, she threw a housewarming party and invited 70 people. When I got a promotion at 32, I mentioned it at Thanksgiving. My dad said, "That's good, honey. Can you pass the gravy?" When Derek won a regional sales award, my mom posted about it on Facebook for a week straight. I learned early on, I was the background character in my family's story, the reliable one they could ignore until this Christmas. It started 3 weeks before Christmas. My mom called on a Tuesday evening. "Natalie, honey, we need to discuss Christmas gifts this year." "Okay," I said. "Well, with the economy and everything, we thought it would be smart to set a budget, keep things simple." "That makes sense. What were you thinking?" $30 per person." I paused. $30 wasn't unreasonable, but something in her tone felt off. "That works for me," I said. "Perfect," she said. "Derek was worried you might, well, go overboard." "Why would he think that?" She laughed uncomfortably. "Oh, Derek, he just didn't want anyone feeling pressured, especially you since you don't have kids to buy for. $30 is easier for you to manage. Easier to manage, like I was on a tight budget, like I needed help." $30 is fine, Mom." "Wonderful." "Oh, and Natalie, please stick to it exactly. We don't want any awkwardness." Awkwardness. As if I'd ever caused problems. I spent 2 weeks finding thoughtful $30 gifts. For Derek's wife, Jennifer, a beautiful candle set from a local artisan. For Amber's husband, Kyle, a nice whiskey glass with custom engraving. For my parents, a framed family photo from a vacation 5 years ago. For Derek and Amber, gift cards to their favorite restaurants, exactly $30 each. I wrapped everything carefully, wrote heartfelt cards, so arrived at my parents' house Christmas Eve with my modest stack of gifts. The first thing I noticed was the tree. Piled high with presents, big boxes, expensive wrapping paper, designer bags, way more than $30 worth. My stomach sank. Derek was in the living room with Jennifer and their kids. "Nat, you made it!" He hugged me quickly. I looked at the tree. "I thought we were doing $30. He laughed. "Yeah, for the adults giving to you, but we've got kids to think about, so we did more for them." "So the $30 limit was just for me?" I asked slowly. "Well, it made sense," Jennifer chimed in. "You don't have the same expenses we do." I looked at my small pile of gifts under the tree. All the same size, all clearly modest. They'd set a budget specifically for me, while everyone else spent freely. Dinner was uncomfortable. I sat between Amber's husband, Kyle, and my dad. Kyle spent the entire meal talking about the new car Amber had just bought him. "Early Christmas present," he said. "She got a huge bonus at work this year." I smiled tightly. I knew exactly what Amber's bonus was, because I'd approved it. But I didn't say anything. After dinner, we gathered in the living room for presents. My mom orchestrated the whole thing like a performance. Derek opened a set of expensive golf clubs from my parents. Easily $700 or $800. Jennifer got a spa package. The kids were drowning in toys. Amber opened a designer purse. I recognized the brand. At least $600. Kyle got a new smartwatch. Then my mom handed me a small box. "This is from all of us." I unwrapped it carefully. Inside was a generic spa gift card, exactly $30. "Do you like it?" my mom asked, smiling. "It's lovely. Thank you." Derek grinned. "We figured you could use some pampering. You work way too hard." "You should relax more," Amber added. Then it was time for my gifts. I handed out the packages I'd brought. Derek opened his restaurant gift card and barely glanced at it. "Oh, Chili's, thanks." Jennifer opened her candle set and immediately set it aside. Amber looked at her gift card and smirked. $30 on the dot. "Wow, Nat, you really stretched that budget." My face burned. "That was the limit," I said quietly. "For you, maybe." She laughed. "Must be nice not having real expenses." Kyle joined in. "Yeah, single life, just you and your cat, right?" Everyone laughed. My mom put her hand on my arm. "They're just teasing, sweetheart." But her smile said she agreed with them. I stood up. "I need some air." And I walked out before anyone could see my face. I stood on the back porch in the freezing December cold. My hands were shaking, not from the temperature, from rage. I pulled out my phone and opened my work email. There was a message from HR sent that afternoon. Subject: Holiday bonus distribution, final approval needed. I opened the attached spreadsheet. A list of employees and their approved holiday bonuses. Derek Marshall, Sales Division, $12,000, Diagonal Amber Chen. Marketing Department, $8,500, both generous, both already approved by me 2 weeks ago. I stared at the numbers. They had no idea who signed off on their bonuses, no idea that I'd actually increased Derek's from the recommended $10,000 because I knew he had kids, no idea that I'd fought for Amber's raise earlier in the year. They thought I was just Natalie, the single one with no real expenses, the one with a simple job they didn't understand, the one they could mock for sticking to a budget they'd imposed specifically on her. The door opened behind me. Derek stepped out. "Hey, you okay?" I didn't turn around. "I'm fine." "Amber was just joking. You know how she is." "Do I?" He sighed. "Come on, Nat, don't be so sensitive. It's Christmas." "Right, Christmas, where everyone got hundreds of dollars in gifts except me, who got exactly 30. "Well, you don't have kids to buy for..." "So my gifts should be worth less?" I turned to face him. "My presence here matters less because I'm not married with children?" Derek looked uncomfortable. "That's not what anyone said." "It's what you meant." He shook his head. "You're reading too much into this." I stared at my brother, the brother who had no idea I'd just approved his $12,000 bonus, the brother who thought I was being too sensitive. "I'm leaving," I said. "Nat, come on." "Tell Mom I had a headache." I walked past him, grabbed my coat, and left. I sat in my car for 15 minutes before starting the engine. I thought about their faces, the laughter at my $30 gifts, and just the dismissive comments about my simple life. And I thought about those bonuses, sitting in the system, waiting for final distribution approval. I could change them. I had the authority. I could reduce them, delay them, cancel them entirely if I had cause, but that wasn't who I was. I didn't abuse my professional position for personal grievances. Still, they were going to find out eventually. The bonuses went out the day after Christmas, and this year something was different. This year, instead of direct deposit, I'd requested physical checks. Mailed to home addresses with full signature lines. It was standard procedure, completely above board, just not the usual method, and my signature would be right there, clear as day. Natalie Chen, Vice President of Finance. I drove home and poured myself a glass of wine, sat on my couch staring at my Christmas tree. Part of me felt petty. It was just gifts, just family being family. But it wasn't just tonight. It was years of being dismissed, of accomplishments ignored, of being treated like the lesser sibling. I'd worked so hard, climbed from entry level to VP, earned every certification, every promotion, every raise, and my family had no idea because I'd never told them and they'd never asked. I could call them tomorrow, explain. Clear the air before the bonuses arrived, or I could let them find out on their own. Let them see exactly who I'd become. Let them understand what they'd been dismissing all these years. I took another sip of wine and decided to wait. I spent Christmas Day alone, made myself a nice breakfast, watched movies, ignored the text from my mom asking if I was okay. The day after Christmas, the bonuses went out. Physical checks, mailed to home addresses, arriving in the next 2 to 3 business days. I waited. 2 days later, my phone rang. Derek, I let it go to voicemail. He called again, then Amber, then my mom. I let them all go to voicemail. Finally, Derek left a message. His voice was strained. Nat, I got something in the mail. We need to talk. Call me back, please. I listened to the message 3 times. Then I smiled. An hour later, he texted, Natalie, call me now. This is important. I waited another 30 minutes. Then I called him back. Derek, what's going on? What's going on? His voice was tight. Nat, I just got my holiday bonus check. Okay. Your name is on it. I paused. Yes, I sign off on all bonus distributions. Silence. Long, heavy silence. You approve bonuses. I have final approval on all non-executive staff bonuses. Yes. More silence. Since when? Since I became VP of Finance 4 years ago. I could hear him breathing. VP? He repeated. You're a vice president? Yes. Of finance? Yes, Derek. At our company? Yes. How did I not know this? He said, his voice rising. You never asked what my title was. I thought you were like a manager or something, a senior accountant maybe. No, I said calmly. I'm vice president of finance. I oversee departmental budgets, approve all bonuses and raises for non-executive staff, and report directly to the CEO. Silence. Jesus Christ, he muttered. Is there something else you needed? I asked. No, I need to go. And he hung up. 15 minutes later, Amber called. Natalie. Hi, Amber. I just got my bonus check. Congratulations. Silence. Your name is on it, she said quietly. Yes. You signed it. Yes. You're a VP? Yes. More silence. Why didn't you tell us? She asked. You never asked. But we work at the same company. Different divisions, I said. We rarely cross paths. Natalie, I had no idea you were that high up. I know. Her voice cracked. At Christmas. The things I said, I remember. Oh my God, Nat, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. You didn't know I had the power to cut your bonus, I said. So now you're sorry. That's not, isn't it? She was crying now. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Not because of the bonus, because I was cruel, because I've always been cruel to you. I didn't respond. Did you reduce my bonus because of what I said? She asked. No, I said. I approved $8,500, which is actually higher than the recommended amount. I fought for your raise last spring, too, got you an extra 2% when they wanted to cap it lower. She made a choking sound. Why? She whispered. Because you're good at your job, I said, and because you're my sister. And I hung up. That evening, there was a knock on my door. My mother. She stood on my porch looking smaller than I'd ever seen her. Can we talk? She asked. I stepped aside. We sat in my living room. She looked around, really looked like she was seeing the space for the first time. The high ceilings, the custom built-ins, the expensive furniture. Your home is beautiful, she said softly. Thank you. I don't think I've ever really looked at it before. I didn't respond. Derek called me, she said. About the bonus check, about your job. Okay. Natalie, why didn't you tell us? I looked at her directly. When, Mom? When would I have told you? She blinked. At Thanksgiving, when Dad cut me off mid-sentence to ask Derek about his sales numbers. At Christmas, when you were all laughing about my $30 budget. Her face crumpled. We didn't mean... You set a spending limit just for me, I said. Lower than everyone else. Because you assumed I couldn't afford more. That I had less to offer. We thought we were helping. You thought I was poor, I said flatly, or at least unsuccessful. So you made accommodations for the struggling daughter. Tears rolled down her cheeks. That's not how we saw it. Then how did you see it? She couldn't answer. I make $240,000 a year, I said quietly. My mom's head snapped up. Her mouth opened. No sound came out. My base salary is $240,000, I continued, plus performance bonuses, plus stock options. Last year, my total compensation was just over $290,000. She stared at me like I was speaking a foreign language. I bought this house with cash, I said. No mortgage, I have no car payment, no debt, I max out my retirement accounts every year and still have money left over. Natalie, I could have bought everyone gifts worth hundreds of dollars without blinking, I said. But I stuck to $30 because that's what you told me to do. Because I thought we were all doing it because I trusted you. My mom was sobbing now. I didn't know. We didn't know. You didn't ask, I said. In 14 years, you never once asked what I do, what my title is, how much I make. You just assumed. I'm sorry, she whispered. Are you? I asked. Are you sorry you didn't know? Or are you sorry you treated me badly when it turns out I'm successful? She couldn't answer. My dad showed up an hour after my mom left. He looked defeated. Your mother told me, he said. About your job, your salary. I nodded. I feel like an idiot, he said. You should. He flinched. That's fair. We sat in silence for a long moment. I'm proud of you, he said, finally. I should have said that years ago, but I'm saying it now. Are you proud of me? I asked, or are you proud of my salary? He looked stricken. That's not fair. Isn't it? You couldn't be bothered to listen when I got promoted. But now that you know I make good money, suddenly I matter. You've always mattered? I've never mattered, I said. Not the way Derek does. Not the way Amber does. I'm the one you forget to call. The one whose accomplishments get 2 seconds of attention before you change the subject. He was quiet. You're right, he said softly. I looked up, surprised. We did that, he continued. We treated you like you were less important. And I don't have an excuse. I don't know why we did it. He looked at me. But you're right, and I'm sorry. It was the most honest thing he'd ever said to me. Over the next week, my family tried. Derek sent me a long text apologizing. Amber called twice, crying both times. My mom sent flowers. But I kept my distance. Because I needed to figure out if I even wanted them in my life anymore. New Year's Eve, my whole family showed up at my door, unannounced. Derek, Jennifer, the kids, Amber and Kyle, my parents, all of them. We need to talk to you, Derek said. I almost closed the door, but something made me let them in. We all sat in my living room, awkward, uncomfortable. Derek spoke first. We've been talking, all of us, about how we've treated you, and we want to make it right. I didn't respond. Amber leaned forward. Nat, I've been seeing a therapist, trying to figure out why I've always been so competitive with you. So mean. She took a shaky breath. And I realized I've always been jealous. You were always smarter, more driven, more independent, and instead of being proud of you, I tore you down. Tears streamed down her face. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. My mom spoke next. I've been in therapy too, she said, working through why I favored your siblings. And my therapist asked me something I couldn't answer. She looked at me. She asked when was the last time I celebrated you just for being you, not for what you did or didn't accomplish, just you. Her voice broke. And I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember a single time. My dad cleared his throat. We failed you, Natalie, as parents, as siblings, as family, and we want to do better. But we understand if you don't want that. Derek added, if you want to cut us off, we deserve it. I looked at all of them, at their tear-stained faces, at their genuine remorse, and I felt something shift, not forgiveness. Not yet, but possibility. I don't know if I can trust you again, I said quietly. We understand, my mom said, and I won't let you treat me that way ever again. We won't, Derek said. If we do this, I said, if I give you another chance, things have to be different. Really different, not just for a few weeks until you forget. They all nodded. Okay, I said, we can try. The next few months were hard. Old habits crept back in. My mom would start to compare me to Amber, then catch herself. Derek would dismiss something I said, then apologize immediately. But they were trying, really trying. In March, my mom threw me a birthday dinner, just for me. No shared celebration with someone else, just me. In April, my dad came to a work event where I was receiving an award. He sat in the front row, clapped the loudest, told everyone around him, "That's my daughter." And in May, Amber asked if we could have lunch. Just the two of us. We talked for 3 hours about everything, about nothing, like sisters. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. Last week, I got a package in the mail from my whole family. Inside was a framed photo from Christmas, but not this Christmas, next Christmas. It was a photoshopped image, all of us together. But in the corner, someone had added text. "Next year, we do better. We promise. Love your family." Underneath was a stack of letters. One from each of them, personal, handwritten, real. Derek's talked about how he'd taken me for granted, how he'd coasted on being the favorite, how he wanted to actually know me. Amber's was 8 pages long. An apology for every specific moment she could remember. Every cutting comment, every dismissal, every time she'd made me feel small. My mom's was the shortest, just 3 lines. "Natalie, I see you now. I'm sorry it took so long. I love you." And my dad's included a photo. The two of us when I was 7, I was showing him a drawing I'd made, and he was smiling at me like I was the most important person in the world. On the back, he'd written, "I used to know how to see you. I'm learning again." I sat on my couch holding those letters, and I cried. Not from sadness, from relief, because they finally saw me, not my salary, not my title, just me. And that was worth more than any bonus check, more than any Christmas gift, more than anything money could buy. They saw me, and I finally believed I deserved to be seen.